Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston sports media personality John Mallory.
Jam, how you doing, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Hey, Jam, do you have any of my award-winning books?
I'm the reason why most of them were award-winning, so yes.
Oh, because of you, I see. I get it. God bless you.
You know, the thing is, I'm also an award-winning sports collectibles author, and you're also a Boston sports media personality. So
I am, but you know, interestingly enough, and by the way, you're out. Ellen and I may be doing a book signing at the Hall of Fame in September.
September.
Yeah.
All right.
You're out.
Well, I'm doing a lot of celebrating that month.
I know it's your birthday and all that good stuff. Anyway,
so,
welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show. Tom Zapp, along with my good friend and co-host, Boston media personality, John Mallory, sports writer, sports critic, got thrown out of the Boston market.
You get thrown out.
Well, you aggravated a lot of
burned
people
a lot of bridges. Yeah, I did.
Just a few.
I did.
We have a great show today. Our in-house guest host is our good friend, Jordon Gilroy from Leland. Jordon, how are you, brother?
Good. How are you?
Hey,
good,
Jordon.
Good. And we have, I'm really kind of excited about this. And we've got Jeromy Murray from Pristine coming later on in the show. But right now, we're going to bring in somebody who is very, very well known in the hobby. Every collector just about tunes in and participates in Net 54, Network 54. And on with us right now is Mr. Net 54, Leon Leckie. How are you, Leon?
Doing good, Tom. John, how are y'all?
Good.
Good to have you here, Leon. That's a great name, by the way. What a name.
Leon
Leckie.
You know what he sounds like? Really? It sounds like a WWE wrestler, right?
You should be like one of those sports betting guys, on TV, like
Leon Leckie.
Leon Leckie.
Yeah, I'm liking that. Hey, Leon, I'm a big fan of Net 54, always have been. I don't participate in it for obvious reasons because of the show, and I try to maintain a level position on what I say publicly, because Rico, JM, and my wife, they get awfully pissed off at me. So I keep my mouth shut usually.
Yeah, I know. You never give voice and opinion on anything. I know you're very, very down the road, very objective, very neutral on everything.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Leon, can you kind of walk us through the evolution of Net 54? How did it germinate in your mind, and how has it evolved?
Sure. So back in about 1998, there was another forum that was right when the internet almost started, and there was 300 or 400 people on it. The owner of it at the time got threatened with some lawsuits, so he shut it down, and a couple other collectors started the first iteration of Net 54 on another hosting site. After a couple years, I took it over, and net54baseball.com was formed in about 2001, and I took over in about 2004.
And correct me if I'm wrong now, there are many different components to Net 54, right? I mean, you can talk about, can you explain that? I know you have like a forum for memorabilia, you have a forum for, right? Can you kind of walk us through that?
Sure. There's 6 or 7 different sections of the forum. There's the front page, which we try to mainly talk about pre-war vintage baseball cards. There's another section, the memorabilia section, where just about all sports memorabilia is talked about. And there's a very popular buy-sell trade section that gets a lot of activity. And then there's other sections for football, boxing, and other sports. So autographs are a main section also.
JM?
I'm just wondering, Leon, because I've been on the site. It's great. I've clicked on a lot of the commentary. It's wide ranging. People give great, thoughts on a lot of varied subjects. How do you go about, or do you go about limiting, I don't want to use the word policing, but kind of limit the content, what people say, what they can and cannot say or do on the site?
So, good question. Our site's a little unusual in that we require people's first and last names if they say anything concerning a company or a person. So their full names have to be there.
Yep.
I don't really limit anything they can say. I try to keep it on topic, but I feel like I try to be like a boxing referee where I stay out of it for the most part
Yeah.
and let the people have at it. And if it gets crazy, then I'll step in, but that's not very usual.
Leon, what are people talking about now? Like what's the interest level now? What are the trends now? What's the subject matter now that you're finding people are most interested in, that collectors are most interested in?
Well, of course, grading is one of them. Fraud is a big one. Trimming of cards. There's a lot of different subjects we talk about, and just about anything's game as long as it can have pre-war baseball cards included. So, the topics go from T206s, which is the main collecting card set from the early 1900s, all the way back to the 1860s. But we talk about a wide range of just about all kinds of vintage sports.
Jordon, obviously you spoke of him, of Net 54, and I spoke to Hef about it, Steve Burke. You guys all I know that you guys are sponsors, I believe, of Net 54, but you guys all speak pretty highly of it.
Yeah, I mean, people need to voice their opinions, and people that commit fraud need to be called out. If there's no place to do that, then there would just be more fraud, and people would just keep getting away with it, which is a real problem. So people still do it, which is unfortunate. But with technology now and the access and the forum, it's so much easier for people to be called out and for it to be stopped. So it's really important.
Absolutely. Interestingly enough, Leon, when when Ellen and I, our first book came out, the T206 collection, the players and their stories, the book did really, really well. We won a couple of awards, but I remember, and I really learned a lot from Net 54 because I got absolutely annihilated when the book came out. And the reason being, it was our first book, and I didn't put enough thought into probably the most important thing. I used reprints
Oh, no.
for the T206 cards in the first book. And I remember Joe Orlando co-wrote the book with Ellen and I, and Joe says, "Are you sure you want to use reprints?" And I said, "Yeah, because they're nice and clear. People are not." I got absolutely annihilated on Net 54. Everybody loved the book, but I got crucified for using reprints. Now we fast forward. Recently, and I really learned a lot again. About I don't know, maybe a month ago, we had David Hall on with us, and David, prior to coming on the air, David said, "Anything is game." I said, "Okay, let's talk about the Wagner." And David,
Oh, no.
oh yeah, we talked about the Wagner, and David gave, he said, "I want to give my perspective." And we let him run with it. And the next day on Net 54,
No.
oh yeah, it was pretty interesting. They were coming out of the woodwork, but again, it was kind of cool, JM.
Yeah, we talk a lot on the show about, vintage, and we always kind of play it up as vintage versus modern, where a collector's going. A young collector's getting more interested in vintage and getting away from modern because of the uncertainty of the modern day player. And both you guys can comment on this, Jordon and Leon, because you both come from different perspectives. Jordon, you're in the auction business. You're seeing what people are bidding on, and of course, Leon, you're seeing what people are talking about. So, where are we in terms of that? Is it moving back toward vintage? Is the demographic of vintage and modern changing? Just want to get both of your opinions on that.
Well, I mean, I can give my opinion. It seems like a lot of young collectors do move back into vintage after they start with their new stuff. Um, vintage is very popular. Babe Ruth isn't going to make any more bad decisions. Neither is Ty Cobb or Lou Gehrig. So there's a little more stability, I think, in the vintage card market. And that brings a lot of people back into it. Plus, the collectors are our heroes. I mean, Babe Ruth, Ty Cobb, Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Stan Musial, all those guys. We talk about them all the time. So, vintage is very, very strong. It's gone up exponentially over the last 5 years.
Jordon?
So, very strong.
Yeah, and on the modern side, I mean, a lot of young people kind of go to vintage once they lose money on a modern guy. Like
Yeah, right.
they'll to a guy, then they'll get hurt. Then they'll say, this is too much of a risk. I'm
Yeah.
going to go for a guy like Wagner or Ruth because it's much more secure. I mean, it might not double, in 2 weeks because the person's not playing anymore, but it's better than losing all your money.
Good point. Excellent point. Okay, so why don't you tell us tell us about the website address, Leon? How can people tune in?
Sure. It's net, the number 54baseball.com. That's net54baseball.com.
Now you are. I've seen you many times, kind of walking around. You're at the National pretty much every year, right?
Almost every year. I've skipped a few, but was there last year. I'll be this year.
Yeah. So every year we broadcast from the main stage on Fridays from 1 to 3. We'll be doing it again this year. I want to get you on with us for a couple of minutes at the National.
I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Excellent. All right, Leon, we appreciate you taking the time to come on board with us, and hopefully we wish you the best to the gang at Net 54. And post on Net 54 that you were on the show. We want everybody to participate. Thanks again.
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Leon.
Tom. Thanks, John.
Leon Lucky from Net 54. Hey, a little programming note before we get into our good friend Jordon. This coming weekend, Rico and I are going to be up at the Wildwood Community Center, up at the Villages. Doors open from 1 to 3, and it is called the Ultimate Sports Collectors Event. Rico, Michael Asaki from PSA, Tom Ruggi, investor, counselor, who, by the way, has an amazing 52 top signed collection. I'll be the moderator. Rico's going to be signing, Q&A. JM, you know how Rico is when he gets going on stories. He's absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, he's the best.
So it's going to be a fun 2 hours. And then after that, a little meet and greet. Michael is going to be authenticating some pieces of memorabilia. So we hope you can show up. Doors open from 1 to 3. Again, Saturday, March 8th at the Wildwood Community Center in Wildwood, Florida, which is, I guess, part of the Villages or next door to the Villages, or who the hell knows. Anyway. Also, as I said, that's it. Jordon, let's talk about your auction, man. You got a hell of an auction going on. First thing out of the gate, Michael Jordan is still rocking, huh?
Oh yeah. I mean, as far as memorabilia and cards, there's an autograph card that we thought would maybe end up at the price it's already at right now, and there are still 2 weeks left of bidding. So that's pretty cool. I mean, it hasn't shown up in years, and maybe it's going to go for double what we thought. I mean, there's also a love letter that MJ wrote in high school, and you could see the content in it. It's crazy. He's like not really sure if basketball is going to work out for him, and he's like confessing his love to this girl, and it's handwritten and signed at the end. It's so cool. Yeah.
Who gave you? Where'd you get that?
It
From
was
the girl.
the person had a couple letters, and this was
The girl that he sent it to is selling it?
No, not her. No.
Oh, I was going to say she has no soul whatsoever. That's wrong.
Well, if she gets $500,000 for it, I think I'd work with.
I didn't say she was dumb. I just said she has no soul.
Well, if she got this one, then she probably got a lot more. She has some others that she more vulgar than this one that she doesn't want the public.
That's funny.
Exactly.
That's funny.
MJ uncensored, right?
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how, we talk about Ruth, we talk about Gehrig, we talk about Cobb. It's just amazing MJ and how he has maintained being at the top of the pile up here in the modern times, right, John?
Yeah, I mean, and Jordan, you can comment. I really thought that. I mean, obviously, it was kind of the Last Dance, which came out. That kind of was the MJ explosion. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it has lasted. I mean, that was 5 years ago now, right? And here we are. He's still. Is he now? Is he now in that category with the Ruths and the Cobbs and the Gehrigs, or not quite there yet?
So far, yes. I mean, he is alive, so technically something can happen where his, value can go down. But he stays out of the limelight as much as he
He
possibly
does. Yeah.
can. And if someone takes a video of him, it's like him walking to his car in the Bahamas or something. He doesn't really get caught doing anything
Nope.
bad. So that's pretty good.
I
And
put him in the class of like a Derek Jeter. I'd say Brady as well, although Brady's out there doing everything now. He's so visible. But they all really cultivated and sculpted their reputations throughout their careers, and they were very careful what they showed the public, which is intelligent.
Well, you have to be. I mean, I don't listen. I know they do it. I mean, by design, but they have people really, really advising them what to do and what not to do, and I think that's real important. If you have a good publicist, man, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And by the way, after in the second break, it's the last game
Oh, this
of
is
the
it.
first round
Yeah.
of the Sweet 16.
Right.
And we have what the hell do we have, John? We have the no, I have it here. I can't remember. Hold on.
It's great.
It's the week 8. The 1984 Detroit Tigers playing the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. That's going to be an interesting.
That's a good game.
I have the results. We'll talk about it after the
The Tiger,
commercial.
when you first started this, you were reading off the teams. The Tigers were my team that were like, yeah, you know what? That was a really good team. Really record-setting team in terms of numbers and victories and all that. So,
Jordan, what
Yep.
we did was, and I'll list the teams after this first commercial break. Is we had AI. We had my son-in-law, Danny, the AI savant, who lives in California. He went into AI with some statistics or whatever the hell he did, and we came out with the 16 greatest teams of all time. And this is this is the last week of the Sweet 16. Next week we start the Elite 8. Who do you think was the number one seed, Jordan, in the Sweet 16, if you had to make a guess?
of all teams, all sports, like forever.
No,
just
baseball.
baseball. Just baseball.
Who would be the number one seed all time?
7 Yankees?
You got it.
You got it.
27 Yankees.
Yeah, you got it.
Seeded number one. Seeded
Yeah.
number one. So
You got it.
we'll
You
see
got
how that all plays out. Jordan, I noticed that you guys also have a 48 complete leaf set. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, number 4 on the current finest ranking. Everything's PSA graded. And luckily, I mean, some collectors would be happy to just have one or a few of those cards in their collection. But this is all of them with the page, all
Wow.
the short prints. I mean, it's just insane that someone was able to collect everything and have them, and not just like PSA 1 and lower. I mean, there are 4s, 5s, 6s, 3s. I mean, they're just great grades, especially for the guys like Page and Ruth and Williams and DiMaggio. It's a really solid set.
What's the bidding at right now for that? Do you know approximately?
I think it's at 57,000 and change before the premium is added.
Nice.
So-
That's an unbelievable get. You know what I mean? That's
is.
unreal. To have all that together, that's crazy. Yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
that's
Go to shows and buy one at a time and take 15 years to get it.
yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
I know you have a Christy Mathewson signed ball and a Ruth ball. Mathewson signed balls are a lot more scarce than Ruth balls, correct?
Oh yeah.
But the Ruth signature ball that you guys have in your auction is freaking gorgeous. Tell us about that.
Yeah, PSA 7.5 overall, and it was graded about a month or two ago, which means if it was graded like 10 years ago, it could have been an 8.5. So today's standards, it's I mean, if you hold it in person, you would think it could grade higher just because it's just so bold. And the photo is tremendous. It's just when you have it in front of you and you hold it, you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing. It should be a 10. Obviously, not literally, but it's just such a gorgeous ball, and it's hobby fresh. So it hasn't been, hot potatoed around for the last 5 or 6 years, selling once a year.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, listen, we are chatting with Jordon Gilroy from Leland's. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, this is the last round, the last game of the first round. And we're going to find out the results of the 1984 Detroit Tigers versus the 1919 Chicago Blackhawks.
Do you say Detroit? It's funny. You say Detroit, not Detroit.
Well, it's because
do you always say Detroit?
Yeah, because if you pronounce things correctly, it's Detroit, isn't it? Or is it Detroit?
I just like bringing up useless things to kill another minute before we go to break.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Jordan's in the house. He's going to be with us for the rest of the hour. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, mile high. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back. And we're going to bring Jeromy in with us for the rest of the show. Jeromy Murray from Pristine Auctions. Jeromy, we got started a little late today on the recording, so you have graced us with your presence. So as a result, we would love for you to join us. How you doing, brother?
It is great to see you. Always appreciate the invite. I enjoy it. I'm doing great.
Hey, do you know, I don't know if you know Jordon. You guys ever met Jordon Gilroy?
I don't think we have. I saw Leon here earlier. I hadn't seen Leon in a couple of years, so it was good to see him. But Jordon, I don't think we have met.
Jordon from Leland's and Jeromy from Pristine. By the way, I saw your picture with Ray Schulte. Nice picture that Ray took. Ray's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He loves to come by here and grab lunch. He lets us buy lunch for him. He's very nice about that. But he's one of the best around, a longtime friend and someone that is really, really good for the hobby and the industry for sure.
Good guy. Jordon, you know, I don't know. Do you know much about Pristine? Interesting auction house. You guys and Pristine, two totally separate kind of niches, whatever you call them, Mallory. But both really, really, really great auction houses and just great for the hobby. Have you ever been on Pristine's website, Jordon?
Yeah, I usually try and look up the elite auctions and what, the artwork kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I kind of go towards. I don't really bid in auctions all that much. I used to bid a little bit more, but yeah, I follow it all the time. There's just constant action every day.
I mean, it doesn't stop with them.
Yeah,
I know.
Jeromy, are you a Mavs fan? I see a Nowitzki jersey.
I am, and I've already had people check on me this morning.
Just got some bad news today, bro. Yeah.
Why? What happened?
Kyrie's hurt. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible.
So they got AD, he got hurt, and now Kyrie's hurt. So, but
I said let's shut them down. We'll see them next year. We've already caused enough mess.
That's what I was watching ESPN before the show, and that's what Kendrick Perkins said. He said, shut them both down, get all your bigs back, and they're even talking about you guys getting Durant maybe in the offseason.
Durant's 112 years old.
Yeah, but he can, dude. He's still averaging like 27 a game or something like that, though. So
what was the guy's name? You guys, I can't remember. Jordan, you may remember. What was the guy's name that was the number one pick in the draft that year? And I felt so bad. Nice guy.
What year?
The year that Durant got drafted, he was the number. What was his name?
It's the kid Greg Oden.
Greg Oden. Man.
Yeah, from Ohio State.
Sad story. Very sad story.
Greg Oden. Yeah.
You remember him, Jordan?
Oh yeah. I mean, he was huge in college and then downhill.
You got hurt.
Yeah, he was like
National one year. It was a big deal because it was the Cleveland National, and he was there, and Topps had him out there. I got to meet him. I was like, "This is going to be the greatest thing ever." Yeah, and he looked 100 years old.
He did. He did.
His body was 100-year-old body at the time.
Exactly. Again, but he's a perfect example of you modern collectors. You got to be careful. That's all I was saying.
Well, you got to be careful drafting a guy with previous. I mean, look at we talked about MJ earlier. Sam Bowie right? In that
Yeah,
draft.
good
He had leg problems all through college, and you pick him because back in those days though, you had to get the big man. And even in those even that was year, what was it? Oh, it was the early 2000s, right?
I agree. Yep.
When they drafted Odin. So still that center, that big guy is still a tough guy to pass up,
All right. It is time for the great AI GAX baseball tournament brought to us each week by our good friend Paul Borges and the staff at PB Collectables, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectables.com to purchase that special vintage card that you have been looking for in beautiful Newport, Rhode Island, John, huh?
I've been there.
I know. It's a nice,
right
nice
across the street from I think it's St. Mary's Church where JFK was married.
That's
I went
correct.
to a wedding there, then visited PB at a shop last
Very
summer.
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Jeromy, I don't know if you know, but we've been holding the Great American Collectibles baseball tournament. We went into our folks at AI. Danny, the AI savant, helped us out.
Hey, can we bring Derek Grady in just for this? I love his reaction to this.
Oh no,
section.
Derek, I had on Derek. Rico and I had him on 2 weeks ago, and his exact words were, "God, I'm begging you to take me."
I was on that show. I was with you.
Anyway, right. So here's the elite the Sweet 16 by ranking. Number 1 was the 27 Yankees. Number 2, the 1906 Chicago Cubs. Number 3, the 75 Big Red Machine. Number 4, the 98 Yankees. Number 5, the 2001 Seattle Mariners. Number 6, the 39 Yankees. Number 7, the 61 Yankees. Too many goddamn Yankees. Number 8, the 84 Tigers. Number 9, the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. Number 10, 2004 Red Sox. Number 11, the 42 St. Louis Cardinals. Number 12, the 86 Mets. 13, the 95 Atlanta Braves. 14, the 70 Orioles. Number 15, the 29 Philly Athletics. And number 16, the 1955 Brooklyn Dodgers. All right, last game of the first round. Last week, or this coming week, we had the 1984 Detroit Tigers versus the 1919 Chicago Black Sox. We have Black Jack Morris facing Eddie Sicott. That's the matchup.
That's a good matchup.
Right. All right. So
two nasty guys.
we're gonna slip up to the third inning.
All right.
Top of the third. Buck Weaver singles. Shoeless Joe Jackson doubles him in, and the Black Sox take a 1-0 lead. Bottom of the third inning. Kirk Gibson walks. Lance Parrish doubles him home. Alan Trammell singles in Parrish. Tigers take the lead 2-1. Fourth inning. Shoeless Joe Jackson singles. He steals second and scores on a Happy Felch single, tying it at 2-2. What are you laughing at?
You should
Fourth
get
inning.
you need to get crowd noise in the
Well,
background.
actually, though, see, when it airs, people are watching it right now. All this stuff is on the screen.
Oh,
The
that's
pictures,
great.
The images, right?
That's good.
All the player images. Sixth inning. A double by Weaver sets up Jackson's RBI single, and the Black Sox take the lead 3-2. Bottom of the eighth. Lou Whitaker singles.
Sweet Lou.
Alan Trammell doubles him to third, and Gibson's grounder scores Whitaker. Parrish singles in Trammell, and the Tigers vault ahead 4-3. Ninth inning, Black Sox. Willie Hernandez comes in to take the mound.
He was unhittable that year.
He strikes out Felch. Shoeless Joe singles, but is stranded as Chick Gandil grounds into a fielder's choice. And the 1984 Tigers win the game 4-3.
Good.
Agree, disagree? What do you guys think?
I would have had Sox.
You really would have?
Yeah.
Something, I kind of agree with you on that one. Jeromy, what do you think? What do you think?
I have no idea about any of the Black Sox, so I'm going to go with the Tigers as a good win since it was in my era somewhat.
JM?
Yeah, I think the Tigers could actually win this whole thing. I don't think AI is going to make them win this whole thing, but that was a gritty team. It was a hell of a lineup. Parrish, Dave Bergman, Whitaker, Trammell, Howard Johnson was the third baseman, Chet Gibson, Darrell Evans was a home run hitter. That was a good team. And the other thing with the Black Sox, I don't know if AI factors in, who got paid.
Good point.
So that's a big thing. AI does not know about, the underworld dealings. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So next week now the Tigers have to play back to back.
Yeah.
Next week's matchup is the 1927 New York Yankees versus the 1984 Detroit Tigers.
Right, so forget what I just said. They're done.
That's going to be a game. And who's pitching? Let me see who's pitching here. Do I have that? Yes. Wade Hoyt is going to be facing Blackjack Morris.
He's
again.
back again, huh?
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays.
That's great. That's fun stuff.
All right, listen. So we're going to bring Jeromy, since you guys are both on the same wavelength, we're going to bring you guys both in. Jeromy, obviously we have a big Leland's auction going on, but we want you to chime in on this. I have a question for you, Jordan. You got a Willie Mays game used bat. What's the story behind that bad boy?
Yeah, All-Star game used, shows some nice use, PSA graded. I mean, it's really everything you want in a Mays bat. It's not a 9 or 10 to make it worth, $7,500,000. It's a perfect grade for, the average collector. It's obtainable. It's not only for a millionaire.
Damn.
No, it's funny you mentioned that because, I found we talked about Jordan, over the last few years kind of rising to the top. And I have found that just watching auctions, doing the show with you, Zap, and about Jeromy and Jordan to comment on this, Willie Mays, Jackie Robinson, Henry Aaron, and Clemente. I feel like those guys have, taken another step up in the hierarchy of the hobby. Yes, no, what are your thoughts on it? We'll start with you, Jeromy.
When I joined earlier, you guys were talking about it, where a lot of these players now, they're not going to hurt their values. It's only going to go up, and it's a safe investment. It's where now how I've experienced over the last couple of years is people that wanted to collect these items back in the day now have a little bit more money, so they're going out to get these collectible high-end pieces that they have. Like when y'all are talking here, I was skimming through Leland's auction. It's incredible, the pieces that are in there. That I don't know where you find those things, and that's amazing.
Let me tell you something. Here's the story. I'm going to tell you, this is the story behind the story, okay? At the National, they have their Leland's exhibit. After the National, Jordan is hiding outside. And when people get into their cars, he's got a mask on, he jumps them, takes the memorabilia, and moves on his
And the other thing, he's so young, they think he's the parking attendant. So he's coming over like pretend he's taking their tickets, and then he takes all their stuff. He's in charge of covert operations.
And by the way, you guys, I'm telling you guys right now, every year we do the broadcast from the National. And I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a 2-hour broadcast on Friday. And typically we've had Jared in, we've had Hef in. They're out, both of them. You guys are going to be on the stage. We're going to bring Jeromy in. And we need to bring in some young blood.
I agree.
We're going to bring in Jeromy and Jordan. You guys are going to spend a few.
I'm going to cover this gray. I'm going to cover that gray up before I get out.
That's okay. I mean, look, that's all right. But we want you to come on board with us. Or we'll do a segment with you guys. We're going to have some fun with it.
With you and Rico up there, it would be just nice to have someone up there who wasn't alive when Millard Fillmore was the president. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's a tough room. That's a real tough room. Jeromy, I was going to be a little facetious in talking about your silver screen auction. Now, it seems as though you've got something going with what's his name? DiCaprio. What's his first name?
Leonardo.
Leonardo. Are you like a Leonardo fan, you guys?
Not necessarily. It's an auction house. I'm sure Jordan will say this. If you can sell it for money, we'll be fans of a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, big fans, depending on what you're asking.
Now I know Jordan is he is involved in buying some of the stuff. He's not telling you because he's under a fictitious name, but I know for a fact that he's really, really into the DiCaprio's stuff and the stuff from Sandlot, the movie, because I know you guys are probably Sandlot fans because that's right in your wheelhouse when you guys were little tykes, Jordon, right?
Yeah, I mean, playing with a Babe Ruth signed baseball, I would never forget watching that. I mean, I was young and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I would never do that. And then, playing ball in the lot as a young kid, that was great. I don't know if that really happens anymore, but yeah, maybe my generation was the last one to do that.
That's kind of sad you mentioned that. JM, this is even before your time, but where I grew up. You grew up not too far from me.
Yep.
And right down the road from us was the Common, the
Sure.
Campagnon Common.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. During the summer vacation, I must from ages 10 to 12, 13, at least once a week, twice a week in the summertime, we would just walk down to the Common. And I mean, I'm talking kids coming from different neighborhoods.
Oh, yeah.
And we would just pick, choose sides and pick up a game. There were always 18, 20 kids.
Yeah.
And we played baseball. Man, you can't even see, you see nothing there now.
No, it's a lost art, and I was talking with some buddies of mine the other night. Is that, and depending on how many, like sometimes you'd have 10, 12 kids, but even if it got down to having just 4, one guy would field, one guy would pitch. That those two guys, you don't see that anymore. I think, and it's great. Like I love the organized sports. I love it. I've covered, high school sports and AAU sports. It's great, but the neighborhood game is gone.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with there's so many guys chime in here. I think it has to do with there's so many different things that kids are doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, Jeromy, how old are your kids?
I've got an 8-year-old little boy and an 11-year-old girl.
So are they playing sports at all right now? Organized sports?
Yeah, they are. My son just started playing lacrosse his first year, which
Great.
I did not grow up playing. So I said, I told his coaches, like, I got nothing. Any other sport lacrosse is new. And he loves it. He loves it. They both play tennis. My daughter plays volleyball.
Tremendous.
But it's since we moved here from Arizona, they've been outside playing more team activities more than ever. And I love that because that's all I grew up doing. And when I grew up, it was basketball season ended on this date, and then you roll to the next season. And now it's all year round for sports. Like you play in and everything. So yeah, it's a big player for sure.
Yeah.
Jordan, how about you?
No kids.
I know you have no kids, but I mean, when you were involved at that age, were you playing mostly organized sports? Did you play any pickup stuff?
Yes. Well, luckily there were a lot of kids on my block, so we didn't really have to travel that far. Or parents could just look out the window. But now if I had kids, I'd be pretty nervous of them just like leaving and going to school on their own. There are a lot of weirdos out there. So
that's a great point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a different time now too, Zach. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with that. I
is.
mean, my grandkids, they're all really, well, the older ones are really, really active in sports. And I just can't believe what their parents have to do to get them from point A to point B on a regular basis.
I know.
Like my granddaughter, she's a hell of a soccer player. And I mean, it's like she's got to go here, she's got to go there. My grandson goes here, he's playing baseball, he's playing basketball, all of them. And it's unbelievable. And then there's a park right down the street from where they live, always empty.
Yeah.
Always empty.
And the other thing, and we're off topic of the hobby a little bit, but the other thing that's lost, and I know a lot of people who have gone on and played professional sports that came from our local area, Zap, but also other areas. And all these guys who are like now in their 40s, 50s, they grew up playing different sports. I know a bunch of guys that got to AAA and nearly Major League Baseball. They played hockey, basketball. Now it's like you kind of have to decide
exactly
at a certain point. Like if you're good, like even your granddaughter, like if you're good now, if she's good at soccer, she's got to do the summer thing and the drills league and all. It's crazy.
I can't even begin to tell you what she's doing. Seriously. I mean, she's playing on. She just, what she played this weekend? She had a game in New York City and then a game in Long Island, and she's 14.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy stuff.
Before
Before we take a quick break, though, I have a question for Jordan. Jordan, you got a lot of Jackie memorabilia in this auction. Talk about that.
Yeah, Jackie is pretty much a staple of our auctions. We have a category for Jackie Robinson. and the Dodgers. So we have a nice plethora of cards, autographs, no game-used jerseys or game-used bats, unfortunately, but a little of everything else in between. Sometimes there'll be some pennants in there, some pins, some buttons, anything you could really think of minus, the $1 million jersey or the half.
Great stuff. I noticed, by the way, a wonderful Willie Mays exhibit card signed by Willie Mays circa 53, 54.
Yeah, nice bold autograph too. Cards in great shape. And he gave a little inscription on there too. Can't be.
He did. Right. But it's not personalized, right? Or is it? No, it's not personalized, JM. Can you imagine that?
Is that your card?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. But isn't it nice how he's objective and doesn't inject himself into the show at all?
I was just mentioning
right middle of the road.
Wait, we're talking
objective.
Collections. We're talking the hobby. You're
the Edward R. Murrow of collectibles, dude.
All right, listen, we're going to take a quick break.
You have no soul either, just like Michael Jordan's girlfriend.
We're going to take a quick break. Jeremy's in the house. Jordan's in the house. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petroselli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection, to the famed Boston Garden auction, to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we are back. JM, don't you kind of regret that you didn't go to Austin Prep?
No, because I can read and write and do all that important stuff, and I can count past 10. And our football team wasn't 8-man, and the baseball team played a full 9 innings. It was great. I'm happy I chose St. John's.
Hey, I got to
Prep.
tell you something. I'm going to give a shout out. My brother Al, who you know very well, JM.
I love Al.
His grandson,
Yeah.
MJ, plays for Austin. He's a
Yep.
sophomore. And the publication, I don't know what this, MLB has something to do with it. He is the number 2 ranked center fielder in the state of Massachusetts.
Really?
And the number 20th center fielder in all of New England. He's 14 years old.
Good for him.
Pretty good, huh?
I mean, they definitely get that from the Al side of the house in the Zappala household.
Listen,
I know you were a runner. You did all that. I get it.
I played football and basketball for Austin Prep, the school that wouldn't die.
Which is more, I think, a commentary on the caliber of athlete.
And had it been for the fact that our starting quarterback didn't get hurt the second game of my senior year, we would not have gone 2-8. We just wouldn't have. That's all I'm saying.
You know, I played on a youth football team in Methuen, here in Massachusetts, that was 0-10 and did not score a point. I was on the offensive line, and here's the funny thing: 7 kids from that team. We were probably 13 or 14. 7 kids from that team went on to play college football.
Oh, I can. Yeah,
we had great play. But we're a horrible.
All right,
team
so I'm
together.
gonna ask these two gentlemen. Let's start with you, Jordan. Did you play sports in high school at all? Or were you on the cheerleading team?
Baseball and basketball.
You played
What does that mean?
Well, wait a second now. You played hoop were you on the bench or did you get some playing time?
No, I started in baseball and basketball. I was back then too. So,
Jeromy, how about you?
I was a basketball player my entire life. John's story there. I played football for 2 years. I was probably 120-pound offensive tackle. We never won a game, so I retired. Horrible.
I did. You know, the funny thing is, after that youth football season, I never played football again. It wrecked me for the game.
Actually, I did. I was better. I was better in basketball in high school, but we sucked there too. So it really doesn't matter. Hey, Jam, let's talk about the Philly show, man. There's some great stuff coming this weekend.
You got it, buddy. East Coast Sports Marketing and Hunt Auctions are pleased to present the Philadelphia Sports Collectors Show, the Philly Show, from Friday, March 7th through Sunday, March 9th, held at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center on Station Ave in Oaks, PA. Shop over 300 of your favorite hobby dealer booths on over 100,000 square feet of sports collectibles heaven from the 1800s to present day. Major sports auction houses and third-party grading and authentication companies are on hand to assist your collecting needs. The Philly Show is family-friendly, and all kids 12 and under get in free. Autograph guests to include Wilbert Montgomery, Nick Foles, should-be Hall of Famer Steve Garvey.
Oh, here we go.
Hall of Famers Wade Boggs, Mike Schmidt, and Steve Carlton. And best of all, over 30 Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles will be in attendance. For more information, go to phillyshow.com. Remember, since 1975, the Philly Show is where it all started.
So think about this. 30 of the Super Bowl champion
30.
Philadelphia Athletics are going to be at the Philly Show. Now, why
Eagles,
do you think?
Eagles, not Athletics, Eagles. The Athletics are
really,
all dead. Yeah.
Eagles. So why do you think that, JM? You think it has anything to do with because they're not going to be at the White House?
Hey, you're right. You're right.
Right? I mean, there is that possibility.
Maybe
right?
you're right. They
Right?
went to the Philly Show and said, "Good for Joe." That's good.
Sorry, President Trump. We're at the Philly Show.
We're at the Philly Show this week.
Hey, Jeromy, let's talk a few minutes about. Well, you want to talk about the silver screen auction, Jeromy, or do you want to talk about all the various components that make up Pristine, like?
So many different types of auctions.
Coin auctions.
Yeah.
Run with it, brother. Run with it.
Yeah, I think it's just it sort of goes along with what we do. If there's a play for an auction, we can kind of drum up an auction for that. And this time our weekly themed auction is silver screen. It kind of went along with the Oscars this past weekend and kind of rolled with that marketing play there. So with the pieces that we have come in from consignment, we're able to put these auctions together. We can do that pretty much for anything. We have a spring training auction coming up, there'll be baseball heavy and hockey's coming up and March Madness and things like that. So you'll see some different themed auctions pop up. It just gives our consigners a little bit more room to move some of their product and some more marketing efforts behind each of these auctions.
And Jeromy, you have some neat stuff in your, I think it's your daily auction. You have some cool signed stuff. You get some Paul Skeens in there, Messi, Pujols, Bobby Witt Jr., a real eclectic kind of mix.
Yeah, it's nice with that, and it's different from the Lelands and auction houses like that are very unique, specific items. We have those in there, but we're more of if you're looking for an autographed jersey, it's a great place to get that. You can pick that up in daily. You can pick that up in our weekly jersey auctions and things like that. It's a great place for just any and all collectors to go there. While mixing in the elite stuff, like Jordan mentioned there, we do have a monthly elite auction with some higher end items, more unique items. So it's a little bit for everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan, how many auctions do you guys do a year? 4?
4 big ones and then some pop-ups sprinkled in.
So now, I mean, I know half is retired now. I know he's joined the WWE circuit. But you're the acquisition director, correct?
Yes, yeah. I oversee stuff here.
How many guys do you have out there that are kind of like scouring the area for consignments?
A decent amount, and we just have our friends and connections in other states that have been filtering things to us for a while. And you go 40 years back, there are a lot of people out there just ready and looking out for everyone that aren't they don't have a business card from Leland's, but they're part of the team in one way, and they're helping the cause.
When we had David Hall on maybe a month ago, I don't know how we got on the topic of the Mount Rushmore of the hobby over the years. And I can't remember exactly, but Josh, he was on the second, he was like number 5 or 6 that came up in the discussion, maybe number 5. But, Josh Evans, man, he's right up there. I'm trying to think who was on it. It was... what's his name? The guy that always took the cash. Rosen.
Oh,
yeah. He was on it. Jeffrey Burdick was on it. I don't know. I can't remember who else was on it. Bill Mastro was on it, which I thought he deserved. And Josh was like 5th or 6th. But, when you talk about Leland, you talk about Josh Evans, man, that guy was a legend. He really was.
Mm.
Yeah, and I thought he was on our screen before. Leon looks exactly like him.
He does, exactly.
Oh.
You know, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, but when the show first started, we're going back 8 or 9 years, probably 9 years. I think this is our 9th year. For the very first year, the two characters that used to alternate, they had regular roles in the show. They would do a 10-minute segment, Josh Evans and Kenny Golden. And every other week they would alternate. And Rico and I, we had no idea what the hell was going to happen. It was unbelievable.
I could imagine. Yeah.
Josh used to come on and say, I don't want to talk collectibles. I want to sing a song. And he'd sing a freaking song. I mean, it was
Wild.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Listen, before we wrap up, we got a few minutes. Let's talk about something that Leon brought up. Let's talk about theft. Let's talk about card trimming. Let's talk about forgeries. I mean, in my opinion, I think it's rampant. And I don't know. A lot of people want to cover it up and not talk about it. I think it's a situation that is being addressed, but that it's really, really a serious situation in the hobby. I want to get your feeling on both of you. Let's start with you, Jeromy.
It's interesting because I was with Beckett for 23 years with the grading and the authentication, and so
Wow.
you know it's out there. You know that it happens. You know the people that do it. You know the good ones and the bad ones is however you want to take that, and you've got to be careful with that. It's unfortunate that it happens, but in this industry, in any industry, when there's money to be made, people are going to do things that are shady and dishonest, and we deal with it here at an auction house where you get pieces in there that are not authentic and they've got some questionable authenticity, and you do your best to catch that because you want to take care of your customers, and you're not in this for a short-term money gain, just like the crooks are. They want to grab the stuff quick and move on to their next heist. So where there's money in anything, there's going to be crooks, and that's just unfortunately it's just inevitable.
Good point, Jordon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, we get emails and calls all the time, and people sending us photos saying their grandparent met Babe Ruth, and then it looks like a signature that a 3-year-old did. And
Right.
maybe it's not all malicious. Maybe they just don't know, or they were given, a story. But you just got to assume everyone's out to get you until they're kind of like not proven innocent. But luckily, like 99% of the stuff that, we see and put in the inventory system, we know is good. And then maybe like one thing someone might email us about and say, this player didn't play that year, or something very specific. And then if we, got to pull something, we do. But there's a lot of fraud, and it's unfortunate. And you mentioned trimming. You can't see that really with the naked eye. But luckily people on the forum sites call it out and follow cards that sell once every 10 years. But if someone does something, they're on top of it.
But haven't the authentication modalities gotten so much better over the years, guys, that those things don't get out to the public? Am I wrong? As much as they may be used to?
Yeah, we got about a minute left, John.
Yeah, I'll tell you with that, with grading authentication, it's really just an opinion, and you use a service with guys that you trust. Jordon mentioned PSA quite a bit there, and I worked with Beckett and the CGC and the SGC guys and things like that. Like, you've got to trust the opinion of those guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't have to give that opinion because I would be terrible at it. But you use the knowledge that they have, and you've got to trust the guys there that do have the knowledge on pieces that you're buying.
Jordon Gilroy from Leland's. When does the auction end?
It ends March 15th.
And your website?
Lelands.com.
And Jeromy Murray, your auctions never end. So what is your website?
PristineAuction.com. Constant auctions going on for sure.
All right, guys. We love having you guys. You guys have been great.
Awesome.
Jeromy has kind of risen to the top. Cavali's out. Plus, I heard he was not very good. He says that he was a great ball player, but I think that's suspect.
We're playing on a team together, so I get to see it every week.
Is he any good?
He's good. He's good.
He is
he's
good.
A good player. He's a young kid. He's still got the legs behind him. So it's good.
I was a young kid once.
Long ago.
Back in
tell me about it.
1963. But anyway,
Good Lord.
JM, nice talking to you. Hey,
Always
don't
a
forget,
pleasure.
If you're in the Florida area, pop up to the Villages this weekend. Rico and I are going to be up there making an appearance along with our good friend Michael Osaki. Michael's you know, I don't know if you guys know Michael, and I think you do, but he's got a very dry sense of humor. He's a very, very funny guy when you get him going. With that being said, JM, we love you. Thanks so much.
You too, Zap.
Jeromy, good luck. And Jordan, good luck. And with that being said, to our viewers and listeners, happy collecting.